I want to share with you a simple yet profound practice that can shift your entire reality. It's something you can do in just 1 minute a day, and it involves speaking a specific statement. By doing this, your subconscious mind will start working on your behalf to create the changes you desire. So let's dive into how this works and why it's so effective. The mind is an incredibly powerful tool. It's not just about our conscious thoughts, but also about the subconscious mind. Our subconscious is like a vast ocean that stores everything we've experienced, learned, and believed. It's the background processor of our reality, shaping our experiences based on deeply ingrained beliefs and habits. What we want to understand is that our subconscious is always at work, even when we're not actively thinking about it. When we repeat a phrase or affirmation, especially with emotion and conviction, we start to rewire our brains. This process is known as neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. When you consistently affirm something with intention, you are creating new neural pathways that support this new belief or outcome. This is why affirmations are so powerful. They're like planting seeds in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. You might be wondering, what should I say during this 1-minute practice? The answer is quite simple. You need to choose a positive statement that fits what you want to achieve. This statement should be in the present tense, meaning it should sound as if the thing you want has already happened. Here's how to create an effective statement for your 1-minute practice. First, think about your goal. What is it that you want to achieve or change in your life? Maybe you want to attract more abundance, improve your health, or find more happiness. Your statement should clearly reflect this goal. For example, if you want to attract abundance into your life, your statement could be, "I am abundant in every way." This means you're affirming that you already have abundance in all areas of your life. It's not just about money. It could also mean abundance in love, happiness, or opportunities. By using the phrase "I am," you are saying that this abundance is already a part of your life right now. If your goal is to improve your health, you might use a statement like, "I am healthy and strong." This statement affirms that you are already experiencing good health and strength. It's important to use the present tense because it helps your mind and body start to align with this new reality. When you say, "I am healthy and strong," you're not waiting for the future. You're claiming it as your current reality. To make your statement even more effective, try to be as specific as possible. Instead of a vague statement like, "I am happy," you could say, "I am enjoying a fulfilling and joyful life every day." Specificity helps you focus on exactly what you want and makes your affirmation more powerful. It helps your mind visualize and believe in the exact changes you're aiming for. Another important tip is to make sure your statement is positive. Focus on what you want to happen, not what you don't want. For example, instead of saying, "I am not sick," you should say, "I am vibrant and full of energy." Positive statements help you stay focused on the outcomes you desire, rather than on what you're trying to avoid. Here's how to use this practice effectively. Find a quiet place where you can be undisturbed for just 1 minute. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and repeat your chosen affirmation aloud or silently. As you do this, really focus on the words. Feel the emotion behind them. Imagine what it would be like if this statement were true right now. Visualization enhances the power of your affirmation. The more vividly you can picture the desired outcome, the more effective your practice will be. When you repeat this practice daily, you are consistently sending a message to your subconscious mind. Over time, this message begins to penetrate deeper layers of your subconscious. Your brain starts to adapt and align itself with the new belief or reality you are affirming. This alignment helps you notice new opportunities and take actions that bring you closer to your goals. It's as if your subconscious mind starts working behind the scenes, guiding you toward the outcomes you desire. The process may sound simple, but its effectiveness comes from its consistency and emotional engagement. Our subconscious mind is incredibly powerful and responds to repetition and emotion. By practicing this daily, you're not just telling yourself something, you're embedding it into your subconscious programming. This is how you create lasting change in your life. Let's dive into why this affirmation practice works so well. The key lies in how the subconscious mind works. Unlike your conscious mind, which can tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined, your subconscious mind can't easily distinguish between the two. This means that when you repeatedly say something positive to yourself, your subconscious starts to accept it as truth, even if it isn't true yet. Imagine your subconscious mind like a sponge. It soaks up everything you say and think over time. When you consistently repeat a positive affirmation, your subconscious begins to take it in and believe it. For example, if you keep telling yourself, "I am confident and successful," your subconscious will start to accept this as a fact. It doesn't matter if you're not fully confident or successful at the moment. By repeating this affirmation, you are training your subconscious to believe that you are. As your subconscious mind starts to accept these affirmations as truth, it changes how you see and experience the world. It shifts your perception of reality. This means you begin to notice opportunities and situations that align with your new belief. For instance, if you affirm that you are confident and successful, you might start to see more chances to build your confidence or achieve success that you hadn't noticed before. Your subconscious is like a filter, helping you become more aware of things that match your affirmations. Think of your subconscious mind as a personal coach. Just like a coach helps guide and support you in reaching your goals, your subconscious does the same, but through your thoughts and perceptions. When you feed it positive affirmations, it starts guiding you towards actions and opportunities that align with those affirmations. So, if you're constantly affirming, "I am confident and successful," your subconscious will begin to steer you towards situations where you can grow your confidence and find success. Here's a simple example to illustrate this. Suppose you've been repeating, "I am a great communicator," as an affirmation. Over time, your subconscious will start to make you more aware of situations where you can practice and showcase your communication skills. You might find yourself more willing to speak up in meetings or participate in conversations. This shift happens because your subconscious is now focusing on ways to make the affirmation true. It's also important to understand that this process isn't instantaneous. Just like building any new habit, it takes time for your subconscious to fully accept and act on these affirmations. The more consistently you practice your affirmations, the more your subconscious starts to align with them. With regular practice, you'll notice that your actions, attitudes, and even opportunities in your life begin to reflect the positive changes you're affirming. Your subconscious mind is incredibly powerful, and it influences many of your automatic thoughts and behaviors. By repeating positive affirmations, you're essentially rewiring your subconscious to support your goals and aspirations. It's like planting seeds in your mind. The more you nurture these seeds with positive affirmations, the more they grow into beliefs that shape your reality. When you start using affirmations, it's really important to have the right mindset. Your attitude can make a big difference in how well this practice works for you. If you approach your affirmations with doubt or skepticism, you might not see the results you're hoping for. Doubt means you're not fully believing in the affirmation or the process. Skepticism means you're unsure if it will actually work. Both of these can weaken the effectiveness of your affirmations. To get the most out of your practice, you need to focus on self-awareness. This means being aware of your thoughts and feelings as they come up. For example, if you're repeating an affirmation but you start to think, "This isn't going to work," or "I don't really believe this," those negative thoughts can interfere with the positive changes you're trying to make. When you notice these doubts or negative thoughts, gently bring your focus back to the affirmation. Instead of letting those doubts take over, Remind yourself of the positive statement you're working on. Think of self-awareness like being your own coach. When you notice that negative thoughts are creeping in, you can guide yourself back to a positive mindset. It's like being in a game and staying focused on your goal. If you get distracted, you need to refocus to stay on track. This self-coaching helps to keep your mind and emotions aligned with the positive changes you want to create. Building trust in the process and in yourself takes time. Consistency is key here. The more regularly you practice your affirmations, the more you will start to believe in them. Each time you repeat your affirmation, you're reinforcing that positive belief in your mind. Over time, this helps to build a stronger sense of trust in the process. You start to see that your affirmations can actually lead to real changes. Imagine this practice like planting seeds. At first, you might not see any growth, and it can be easy to doubt whether the seeds will ever sprout. But if you keep watering them and taking care of them, eventually you will see them start to grow. Your affirmations work in a similar way. At first, it might seem like nothing is changing. But if you keep practicing and believing, you will start to notice changes over time. Staying consistent with your affirmations also means repeating them even when you don't feel like it. There might be days when you feel doubtful or discouraged, but that's when it's most important to keep going. Just like any other habit, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Over time, repeating your affirmations will feel more like a part of your routine, and the positive impact will become more noticeable. Another helpful tip is to create a positive environment around your affirmation practice. Surround yourself with reminders of your goals and the positive changes you want to make. This could be visual reminders like notes or pictures, or it could be setting aside a special time each day for your affirmation practice. A positive environment can help keep you focused and motivated. Consistency is a key part of making this practice work effectively. It's important to understand that it's not just about doing your affirmations once and then expecting to see instant results. Instead, the real benefits come from making this practice a daily habit. Think of it like physical exercise. When you work out regularly, you gradually build muscle and improve your fitness. It doesn't happen overnight, but over time, you see progress. The same principle applies to using affirmations. When you practice affirmations every day, you are doing a kind of mental exercise. Just as lifting weights helps build physical strength, regularly repeating positive statements helps build mental strength. Over time, this practice creates new neural pathways in your brain. These are like new roads that make it easier for positive thoughts and beliefs to travel. The more you use these pathways, the stronger and more automatic they become. Daily repetition is what makes a big difference. Each time you repeat your affirmation, you are reinforcing the new belief you want to create. It's like watering a plant every day. If you water it regularly, it grows strong and healthy. If you only water it once in a while, it might not grow as well. The same goes for your affirmations. The more consistently you repeat them, the more your mind starts to believe them. Emotional engagement is also crucial. When you say your affirmations, try to really feel the emotions that go along with them. For example, if your affirmation is, "I am confident and successful," imagine what it feels like to be confident and successful. Feel that sense of pride and accomplishment as you say the words. This emotional connection helps to make the affirmation more powerful and convincing. It's not just about saying the words, it's about feeling them and letting them sink into your subconscious mind. Consistency means making this practice a regular part of your day. Set aside a specific time each day to do your affirmations. It could be in the morning before you go to bed or during a break in your day. Find a time that works best for you and stick with it. The key is to make it a habit so that it becomes a natural part of your routine. You might also notice some resistance or challenges as you start this practice. This is normal. Change often brings up fears or doubts, especially when you're working on shifting deep-seated beliefs. When this happens, remind yourself of the purpose of your practice. Keep your focus on the positive outcomes you're aiming for and use any resistance as an opportunity to strengthen your commitment. The 1-minute practice is a tool to help you harness the power of your subconscious mind. It's a way to align your thoughts and feelings with your desired reality. By doing this consistently, you're actively participating in the creation of your own future. The more you engage with this practice, the more you'll find that your reality begins to shift in alignment with your affirmations. By taking just 1 minute each day to repeat a positive affirmation with conviction and emotional engagement, you're setting the stage for powerful changes in your life. Your subconscious mind is a powerful ally in manifesting your desires. The key is consistency, emotional involvement, and belief in the process. I'm going to feed you, you're going to get your coffee, you're going to do all those things, but right now, this is my time. You're going to obey me, right? So now the body's no longer the mind, you're the mind. And so when it wants to get up and you become aware of it, you return back to the present moment. Every time you do, that's a victory. And you're changing some aspect of yourself. So then ask yourself, I do this all the time. Write down 4 thoughts that you're going to stay conscious of the whole day. I can't, it's too hard. You'd be surprised the moment you become conscious of what those thoughts are, how unconscious you've been to them all day, all for weeks on end. Write down what you speak, how you speak, 4 things you want to change, how you act. How do you act? Do you complain? Do you blame? Do you make excuses? Do you feel sorry for yourself? That's a victim consciousness. What emotions do you live by? Is it possible that you're so used to living by guilt you don't even know it's guilt, it just feels like you? Do you allow your energy to drop? Become conscious of those states of mind and body and review them and say, this is the old self. Then say, what thoughts do I want to fire and wire in my brain? And start firing and wiring and start feeling it. What behaviors will I demonstrate today? What choices will I make? One day, one lifetime, just like you did, rehearse them. Rehearse the whole entire thing. Begin to install the neurological hardware in your brain. And if you keep installing it, the hardware is going to become a software program, and you're going to start thinking and acting that way. And then here's the tough part. Can you teach your body emotionally what your future is going to feel like before it's made manifest? And don't get up until you feel that way. Now practice that for a few days and then see if you can stay in that state and watch all of a sudden all those weird doors start opening for you. Synchronicities, whatever they are. Number 2, take time at the end of your day before you lay down and give thanks for your life. Feel gratitude and really teach your body what it feels like. The emotional signature of gratitude means you're getting something. If I give you something that's of value, you would say thank you because you would feel it, right? So when you're receiving, you're giving thanks. So gratitude is the ultimate state of receiving. So then people only accept, believe, and surrender to the thoughts equal to their emotional state. So if you're in a state of gratitude, every thought's going to make it right down into your body. If you're saying, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, and your body's programmed the negativity, it's saying, no, you're not, no, you're not, no, you're not, thought's going to stop right here. So as you elevate your state, there are about 100-200 different chemical reactions that go on in the body that begin to restore and repair the body in a state of gratitude. And so we've done the research to prove that. 10 minutes and just feel it with all of your heart. That's it. The third thing, and very important, take time. Whenever it is, sit down, close your eyes, and begin to just open your awareness to the space around you and just sense it and pay attention to it and become more aware of it. The act of opening your awareness begins to reduce the stress hormones and creates more coherent brainwave states. I'm doing it right now. It's just a practice. It's just a practice. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. Most of our thoughts and feelings come from our past experiences. They come from our memories. In fact, your brain is organized to reflect everything you know in your life. Your brain is a record of all the things you've learned and experienced to date. It's an artifact. And when you have an experience, when you're in the midst of an experience, all of your five senses plug you into the external environment. And as your brain is processing all of this vital sensory data, all of that information rushes back to the brain, and when it reaches the brain, it causes jungles of neurons to organize themselves into networks, to string into patterns, to reflect their interaction with their external environment. The moment those neurons organize into patterns, the brain makes a chemical, and that chemical is called a feeling or an emotion. And so experiences tend to create more long-term memories because it patterns or stamps or embosses networks of neurons into very specific patterns. And then the emotional quotient helps us to remember the event. So we learn something new intellectually. We also cause networks of neurons to form. The Nobel Prize laureate Kandel in the year 2000 found that when people learn just one bit of information, they double the number of connections in their brain from 1,300 connections to 2,600 connections. So if they didn't review that information or repeat it, the connections pruned apart. So we know then that learning semantic information begins to organize circuitry in the brain, and experiences enrich the brain. The end product of experience, of course, is the emotion, and it causes us to feel certain ways. You can remember where you were on 9/11. You can tell me who you were with, what time of day it was, what you were doing, because whatever you were seeing in that moment or hearing in that moment changed how you were feeling. And the moment you felt altered or you felt differently, significantly, your brain perked up and you paid attention to whatever caused that. And that event in and of itself is called a memory. So then most of our thoughts and feelings tend to be within the neural circuitry of the past and the emotions of the past chemically. So if you take a thought, thoughts are the language of the brain, and feelings are the language of the body, and how you think and how you feel creates a state of being. So if you combine a thought and a feeling, a thought and a feeling, a thought and a feeling, and you have a series of good thoughts that are connected to a series of good feelings. That cycle of thinking and feeling creates what's called an attitude. If you have a series of negative thoughts that are connected to some pretty bad feelings, you'll say, I have a pretty bad attitude today. So if how you think and how you feel creates a state of being, then attitudes are just shortened states of being. You feel good in the morning, you feel bad in the afternoon. If you take an attitude, an attitude, an attitude, and you begin to string attitudes together, when you combine an attitude, an attitude, an attitude, you start to form what's called beliefs. Now, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking over and over again until you hardwire it in your brain. And because beliefs are based on past experiences, then the very boundaries of our beliefs are how we feel. And so when our beliefs get challenged, it typically doesn't feel right. I know from the research that we've done that the redundancy of thinking and feeling and thinking over time, for example, a person has an insecure thought, then they feel insecure. The moment they feel insecure, they think more insecure thoughts. They fire and wire more circuits in their brain to feel more chemicals of insecurity. And then once they're feeling insecure, they think more insecure thoughts. And they do this over and over again. Right on the other side of your fear is courage. Right on the other side of your sadness is joy. It's the same energy. It's just trapped in the body. And when you stretch yourself past that point and you break free from the chains of those emotional addictions, the side effect of that is called joy. And the body is liberated from that level of mind. And when that happens, there's available energy to create with. And so when you break through that, you begin to love yourself. You begin to respect yourself. And you begin to love and respect others because you see yourself in them. And now that you're free from it, you can understand them with compassion without knee-jerking in the same way. So the difficulty here is really making the time to do it. And if you began to think about a new way of being and you moved into a state where you said, I'm not going to get up until I am this person. And not only did you memorize it neurologically in your brain, but you allowed the thoughts that you were thinking to become the experience to the point that your body, as the unconscious mind, began to live in that future reality in the present moment. And when you got up, when mind and body were working together in that state of being, and you said, I'm going to maintain the state of being my entire day, and I don't care. Bring on the challenges, because I want to test my greatness. And you did that the entire day. The end of your day, when you finished your day, more than likely you'd have more energy than when you started. The literal translation of the word meditation in Tibetan means to become familiar with. The symbol means to become familiar with. So if you're becoming conscious of or familiar with your unconscious self to the point you're so conscious of your unconscious thoughts, so familiar with your unconscious habits, and so aware of your emotions that you would never let them go by unnoticed by you. There's no chance for you to return back to the old self, to know thyself. So people wake up in the morning and they start thinking about their problems. And those problems are memories in the brain that are connected to certain people and certain things at certain times and places. So they wake up in the morning and they start thinking in the past. Now, the moment they start having those thoughts, every one of those experiences has an emotion associated with it. So when they start thinking about their problems or the problems of the world or the problems of their body or whatever it is, problems at work, they all of a sudden start to feel the correlated emotion. So now their body's in the past. So now people then get caught up in an emotion, they reaffirm their identity, they could wake up in the morning and feel nothing at all. And then all of a sudden they say, well, wait a second, I've got to get back to myself. So they start thinking about their problems, and here come the emotions. And they say, oh, now I feel like me again. So those emotions then begin to influence our thoughts. Like if you feel like a failure, you're going to think you're a failure. And when you think you're a failure, you're going to feel like a failure. And when you feel like a failure, you're going to think more thoughts equal to being a failure. And the cycle of thinking and feeling and feeling and thinking causes you to say, I am a failure. And the repetition of that process of thinking and feeling and feeling and thinking conditions the body to become the mind of that emotion. Now the emotion is stored in the body. Now the body's literally in the past. And the body, as the unconscious mind, doesn't know the difference between the actual experience that's creating the emotion and the emotion that you're creating by thought alone. Your body's believing it's in the same experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So then getting people out of the past is the work. So then they wake up in the morning after they reaffirm who they are, and they can't think greater than how they feel. They're in the familiar past. So if you're in the familiar past, you're going to do the things that reaffirm the emotions of your predictable future. So you wake up in the morning, you check your WhatsApp, you check your text, you check your Twitter, you tweet, you check your Facebook, you check your email, you check the news. Now you are really connected to everything that's known in your life. And then you run through a series of routine behaviors. You move around your house the same way you always do. You do all the same things. You go to the same grocery store, you buy the same food, you shop the same way, you do all these, you watch the same TV shows, and people do this for 10, 20, 30 years. Now their body's on autopilot, and their body's dragging them into a predictable future based on what they did in the past. You could actually take their yesterday and lift it up and set it on their tomorrow, which means then they've lost their free will to a program. So now the familiar past and the predictable future is called the known. There's only one place that you have to train a person to be so that they're not in the known, they're in the unknown, and that's called the present moment. So people get very happy being unhappy because they would rather cling to their unhappiness than take a chance in possibility. So stepping into that river and beginning to make a new choice and understanding that uncertainty, that unpredictability is the unknown. Now you're in that river of change, and it is the neurological, the biological, the chemical, hormonal, genetic death of the old self. People say to me, well, if there's uncertainty, I can't predict my future. And I always say the same thing. The best way to predict your future is to create it, not in the known, right there. That uncertainty, you can learn now how to regulate your state instead of living in fear, because the idea that things are going to get worse, the idea that you can't predict, the idea of being uncertain or can't control something actually sets off the stress response. So now you're in the unknown, and this survival gene is switched on. Of course, people are going out of the infinite possibilities that exist in the quantum field. They're going to select the worst scenario in their mind, right? So then what if you're in the unknown and you understand that, and now you can work back into that present moment, and you say, what thoughts do I want to fire and wire in my brain, put my attention behind? What behaviors today, one day, what behaviors do I want to demonstrate? And the act of closing your eyes and mentally rehearsing who you're going to be when you open your eyes begins to install the neurological hardware in your brain to look like you've already done it. Now, the brain is no longer a record of the past.